All right. So I don't normally like to do, just like regular talk videos. I feel like they're pretty boring to y'all. But I feel like I do have to talk about this. Um, I feel like it's important. Where do I begin? I just hit 1,000 subscribers recently. Um, and for people who actually do care and like are, consistent about being in my community and actually, you know, care about the content that I'm making. I thank you guys a lot. You guys don't know how much that means to me. But for the people that do care, I feel like this video is something that would interest them. Um, I hit 1,000 subscribers. That's a big milestone. Why not for people who are interested and want to know me? I figured that I'd make a life video, who I am, what happened in my life, where I went from, where I grew up, things like that, you know, important people in my life. Um, I feel like that would be a video that most people in my community would be interested in. Why be a content creator if nobody knows who I am or like where I come from? So I'm gonna start off when I was born. Uh, I was crying. I'm playing. I breathed. I'm kidding. No, but no. When from a young age, when I was like 8 years old, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I had behavioral issues, a lot of issues with paying attention in school. That was when my first major event happened. I was diagnosed with ADHD and I was put on a medication. And apparently, the psychiatrist that gave me the medicine didn't tell us about a side effect. I which was suicidal thoughts. It's a pretty big thing to be in third grade and want to, off yourself. Um, and it was one of the side effects of that medicine is that could happen, and it did. And I wanted to, off myself. I was terribly bullied from about third grade for the rest of my high school, all the way up until the end of high school. Um, it affected my life a lot. I like to say that my life from pretty much since like when I turned 8 dealt me a pretty bad hand. I never really got the right cards. Um, and that was probably the biggest thing, or at least from that age, being 8 years old and wanting to off yourself is a pretty big deal. And it was I like to blame it on the medicine, but I think it also could have been me and what I was going through at the time too. But I like to blame it on the medicine for that one. I like to blame my psychiatrist for that. Not telling us that that was a risk, which by the way is illegal. You're supposed to tell what side effects could happen during that. Another thing that was pretty big. Is in sixth grade, after sixth grade, summer in between sixth grade and seventh grade, I moved to New York. I lived in the Upper West Side of Brooklyn for like 8 months. And there the bullying got worse. I had no friends. So I resorted to video games and video game addiction, hiding in my room, just playing video games all day long, playing video games to avoid the pain. You know, I had nobody apart from my parents. My sister and I grew apart recently before that. Just we never really talked. We'd always fight. And so I had nobody to talk to, so I resorted to video games and online friends. Um, because people in New York, if you guys aren't aware, are usually pretty much assholes. Especially in middle school, people are going through, puberty and stuff, and so they just become complete dickheads. And during that time when we were in New York, COVID happened. I was in 2020, and we witnessed body bags be taken out of hospitals into cars, and so that was pretty bad. So we moved back up to Illinois, and then we moved to Ohio a couple months later. Into Ohio, I in Ohio, it was the same thing as New York, just didn't have any friends. And it got so bad, the bullying there, to where we had to move back. And then we moved back to where I am now. It had gotten so bad that there was like threats of killed people pulled out knives on me, even a gun one time. There is a lot there, and uh, but that's really much all for my sob story. But my name is Isaac. I'm 18, high school graduate. I'm going to go to college. Um, I'm gonna major in science and technology, and I'm a full-time streamer or part-time streamer. Make minimal money, but that's just how it is for YouTube. For being at 1,000 subscribers, you're not gonna be making much money. But in a life that I come from, I like to say that for most of my life, I was told by my parents that I wouldn't get anywhere with, video games and content. I was even told that they thought that I was going to be like my uncle, who, if you guys aren't aware, my uncle is unemployed, lives in New York, and lives off his wife. Doesn't have a job, didn't go to high school, dropped out of high school, got his GED. So as having my parents say that really set the tone to, like, with what I was showing them, they didn't have any faith in me. And so that right there kind of made me want to prove them wrong, really pissed me off. And so part of me doing this is also to prove everybody that, if you want something, you got to work for it, you got to earn it, and you got to prove people that they're wrong, and shove it right into the fucking face. But as me as a content creator, I highly push the fact of being mature, being kind, pushing towards kindness, zero negativity, always positive. I do on my streams rage a lot, I swear, but I honestly come from a good place. I don't mean to be toxic in any way, shape, or form. I, as a content creator, have to clip farm, in order to, like, get people to stay on stream, rage bait. Since I don't have a face cam, I have to be more emotional and express, like, funny things in different ways, like, you know, walking out when I get mad and, like, shutting my door is, like, one thing that I do, you know, because I don't have a face cam, so you guys are missing part of, you know, the three senses. I mean, you guys aren't seeing anything, you guys are only hearing, and obviously, my streams aren't 40, so you're not smelling anything either. You guys would That would be a pretty bad situation if it was 40, because then you'd be smelling my burps all stream. But um, I come from a good place, and I mean well, um, but I push towards positivity, and I won't take any sort of negativity towards anything, especially towards the game that I'm playing content for. If people are saying that this anniversary is bad and stuff, and like other things like that, like this game sucks, why are you playing it? I won't take any sort of, you know, any sort of negativity towards that. You guys, some of you have learned that the hard way. I, I just, it's something that it really bothers me, especially because I rely on this game to make me money, and you know, I don't like people telling me to do that. You know, like, quit playing this game. Your content sucks. Things like that. I won't take shit from anybody if they're doing that. Um, I'm a good person. I like to think that I'm genuinely kind. Um, but negativity is one thing that I don't take lightly. And that was one thing that was taught by my parents, and other family members. But yeah, this video I was not trying to make depressing, but I feel like as a content creator, the audience should know who they're watching, you know, things like that. But anyway, you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.